The Ford Fiesta has been on our roads for over 40 years, and during that time it's been one of the best-selling cars in the UK. It's also often been the benchmark that every other supermini has to live up to and beat. And there's a new version. This 7th generation model arrives for 2017. Now instantly you'll recognise it as a Fiesta. It's got a very similar design as the 6th gen. That's not a bad thing, that was a great looking car. There's a wider grille, more softer and sleek wraparound headlights. That wedge profile has remained, however the size has changed. It's now 70mm longer, 13mm wider and an impressive 20mm lower. There are now 7 engines to choose from, 2 variants of a 1.1 litre entry-level petrol, a 1 litre EcoBoost which is available in 3 power outputs, and 2 variants of a 1.5 litre diesel. The entry-level versions of the petrol come with a 5-speed manual gearbox, whilst the rest come with 6-speed manuals. The 100 PS 1 litre EcoBoost is available with an optional 6-speed automatic. The Fiesta is available in 2 body styles, a 3-door hatchback and this 5-door hatchback. There are 7 trim levels to choose from, whilst next year a ST Sporty version and Active crossover arrive. Prices currently start from £12,715. However, we're testing the 1 litre EcoBoost engine with the 6-speed manual gearbox in titanium trim. That costs £16,795. Now, the new Fiesta offers 292 litres of boot capacity. However, that's over 60 litres less than the new Seat Ibiza. This has got a floating floor on it, which is adjustable. However, it's a £75 optional extra. So that can be taken out and lowered down, which is very useful. Either side you get a bag hook, but in reality the boot's quite shallow with quite a high lip. It's generally pretty square, and with the floating floor it's flat, as is the standard floor. Underneath there's a tyre inflation kit with a little bit more storage space, whilst there's these tiny compartments either side. It's not really that practical. In the rear, things aren't a lot better. It's really pretty tight. This hasn't grown much in length at all. My knees are touching the seat in front, my feet don't have a huge amount of room, and my head's just brushing the roof. There's not much storage in the door, and this rear bench that splits 60-40 doesn't actually lie flat, so you've got a slope on it. The biggest change on the Fiesta has got to be the front cabin and the dashboard. Gone is the mobile phone inspired dash with all its cluttery buttons and its integral screen. Now you get this freestanding 8-inch colour touchscreen. It's much more simplified, and in fact it feels a lot more grown up. On this titanium model you get the automatic air conditioning, cruise control on the steering wheel, auto lights, wipers and Bluetooth. This has also got satellite navigation and the optional pack that brings heated seats, heated steering wheel. Practicality is not too bad. I've got a long door bin, it's quite narrow, there's a little tray dropping down by the driver's knee, an anti-slip tray ahead of the gear lever, a couple of cup holders between, and then this quite useful tray in the middle. It has a little floating shelf, and then it's quite deep beneath. The glove box is split level and well sized. To adjust the driver's seat, there is a pump lever down the side, and in the lowest setting I've got just enough headroom at 5'9". There's a inch or so to spare. There's a rotary dial to adjust my backrest, and this has got the optional lumbar support control, which is another rotary dial. The steering wheel then adjusts well for reach and tilt, so most people should be able to get comfortable in here unless you're too tall and the height's an issue. Now, don't have the optional sunroof and that will get better, however that is standard on the Vignale models. The instrument cluster is really neatly designed. You've got the 2 main dials for revs and speed either side, fuel and temperature gauge in the middle, and then a very neat TFT screen with your trip computer, radio and some satellite navigation features. Overall, the interior of the Fiesta has moved on. Gone is the designer-led style and its more practical focus. However, it now struggles, I think, to stand out from the rest of the crowd. But let's see what this is like on the road, where the Fiesta has always excelled. The 1 litre version of the EcoBoost in this engine develops 99 brake horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to get the supermini from standstill to 62 miles an hour in 10.5 seconds. Peak power arrives at 6,000 revs and max torque at just 1,400. On an official combined cycle, it'll return 65.7 miles to the gallon and emits just 97 grams per kilometre of CO2. Now, the engine's an absolute peach. There's no delay until you get to a certain rev limit where it suddenly all delivers the torque or the power further up. It's just smooth and linear all the way through its progression up the rev range. There's no delay low down. It picks up quickly. You can be in almost any gear and it will pick up. Third gear, fourth gear, in quite low speed actually, it'll go. It's a brilliant, very flexible little engine. You wouldn't say it feels particularly rapid, and that's borne out by its 0 to 62 figure of 10.5 seconds. However, it feels swift enough. I've not really been left wanting much more when I've just been driving around and changing from speed limit to speed limit. Even when I've been pushing on, it's got enough there to have some fun with. This engine's got the new 6-speed manual gearbox, and you can certainly feel the change over the last edition. It's really light. In fact, as you change gear, it feels like it's just moving through air rather than anything mechanical. It doesn't quite feel as sporty as before though. It had a really short throw and it's a little bit longer. It's not too long, but it's longer than it was. It doesn't quite feel as mechanical. So there's a little bit of enjoyment loss, but it does make it easier to change gear and to drive. The Fiesta range is split between comfort and sport, so in comfort and luxury you've got the titanium and the vignale, whilst in sport you've got the ST line and the ST when it arrives. Now this really does fit well into that comfort side. The suspension's really compliant and it deals with the majority of things on the road, whether you're on a bumpy country lane or going through town with speed humps. It's really very comfortable. It's also well damped, which means if you do go over any bigger bumps, it settles down very quickly and very calmly. Now that comfy ride hasn't been to the detriment of handling. It really does feel pretty agile still, which has always been a strength of the Fiesta. There's a little bit of roll as you go into sharper corners, maybe with a little bit more speed, but it's nothing to be concerned about. Around town, this is really easy to drive. It's got that light gear change, a light clutch to go with it, and the steering also goes extra light as well. When you're maneuvering around things like tight car parks, it's a cinch rather than actually being a chore or troublesome. However, the steering does tighten up as you speed up and is pretty good. It feels very silky, very smooth, real high quality steering. It's generally consistent and turns in keenly, going exactly where you want it to. The Fiesta really does feel like a very grown-up little car now. The refinement is excellent. There's not much wind or road noise. It gets a bit wet today, so you're getting the slaps of the rain. But it's a lovely little car. There's little vibration coming through. There's very little suspension noise. It's a well-sorted supermini. Visibility to the front and side is pretty decent. These pillars aren't too big. The middle pillars are very small. There are bigger pillars at the back, however, so over your shoulder is limited a little. Disappointingly though, on this titanium model, front and rear parking sensors are an additional cost. Now there's no doubting that the Fiesta feels a lot more premium, much more grown up than the model it replaces. However, in doing so, it's lost a little bit of fun. I don't think it's quite as good to drive, even though it's still one of the best in the class. And the Seat Ibiza now is right on its tails for driver entertainment. Practicality lets it down, but overall the Fiesta still ticks most boxes and is a terrific supermini. Thanks for watching. Do check out the website for the full review. Subscribe on the channel for free and let us know in the comment section below what you think of the 7th generation Fiesta.